Chase Mains here. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about Swaj Mamatonics. Swaj is the ancient Egyptian word meaning healing and greening. Swaj Mamatonics is the world's first ever photovoltaic supplement composed of over a dozen wild plants. Heavy hydrogen, stabilized oxygen, ionic colloidal mamatomic minerals complementing aromatic amino acids and phyto compounds to make your body super electric. Our aromatic amino acids increase your two major heme groups' ability to absorb and use UV radiation. These are the mitochondrial cytochromes and red blood cells. The light is converted into the infrared radiation and electrons. The infrared radiation structures the water in the cells, circulatory system, and lymphatic system. The infrared also shrinks the red blood cells and the cytochromes to maintain their proper shapes. This is sacred geometry. Understanding shape helps us understand the pathways of energy. The mitochondria can also heat up to 120 degrees while utilizing copper, gold, palladium, ruthenium, rhodium, platinum, and iridium to create biological superconductors. To learn more about this science, you guys should join the God Complex course. If you don't want to learn the science of life, that's okay too. Just make sure you take your Swaj Mamatonics every day and join the 40-day fruit fast family. It's not about just fruit. It's about the fruit of the earth. Strong mitochondria produces biophotons, which makes all your cells glow. That's why my dad, Minister Enqi, always says don't chase money, chase light. Order your Mamatomics now at 40dayfruitfast.com.
Being able to produce, that creates a community, that creates commerce, that gives us a calendar, it gives us seasons, it organizes us so that we never need anything outside of what we're able to create for our own. But we always seem to have cultural events minus the agra. What is that? I'm looking for the agra. What is the agra at? And I think the reason why people aren't focused on the produce and they think it's too simple for such complex issues. But see, the issues are only complex because you were told that they're complex. No one takes the time to really educate any of you to let you know what's going on in your body the right way so that the wrong way is easily understood. Okay, so I'm going to go through a couple slides here and we are going to talk about the quantum mechanics and the dynamics of the greatest technology in the universe. And that is the black woman.
Well.
But, men are here too, so we got some of their technology, so, you know what I'm saying? We were going to talk about that as well. All right? Now, there was a question asked, why do we eat? Why do we eat food, y'all? Fuel for the body, energy. Those are all terms. Like, what does fuel, what energy, like, what is that? Like, why? What is fuel? What do you use fuel for? To move around. Because you got things to do. You got to get stuff done. If you can't get out of bed, what you going to get done? Huh? If your head hurts, what you going to do? How you going to enjoy a $1,000 plate at the most bougie restaurant if your nose stopped up? And ask yourself that, why would my nose stop up? I can't taste nothing. Because you taste with your nose. The word flavor etymologically has the roots in the word flavus, which means yellow and nose. That's why animals do what when they're looking for food? They smell. I'll give you the greatest example. I got two plates. I got a plate over here with a big pile of muck. It almost looks like that stuff, but it smells divine. Over here, I got the most beautiful, prettiest plate, but it smells like doo. Which one you gonna taste first?
Divine.
The one that smells good. Cause they're gonna say, you know what, you just don't know how to plate. You know, you probably add a little too much of that gravy up in there and it'll look right, but it smells good though. So we see that our nose, that's why black people got nose. I got nose. Black people got noses. And we got noses so we can be able to smell. And we also have noses so we can be able to breathe. Because we can go years without eating. Oh, you can't go a minute. Seconds. That tells you how important it is. So then when you find out how important breathing is, then you're going to say to yourself, okay, why am I breathing? Why do we breathe again? Louder? Oxygen. Yes. Okay, another word. What's the oxygen? What's that for?
Electrons.
You're going too far. You're going too far, man. That's about 12 slides down. What is the oxygen for? Let me give you something that y'all know. Let's say we're out camping. And let's say you just happen to find the rarest part of the woods that don't have no oxygen there. You gonna light a match? Oh, so you need oxygen for fire. What temperature are we?
98.6.
Okay. Whoa. And we're known as warm-blooded. Okay. So oxygen is for the fire. It's the spirit. The blood is our river of life, and the oxygen contains iron that magnetizes the oxygen to carry it everywhere.
Okay. Thank you.
And the reason why you carry them to all the tissues, because all your tissues has a specialized organelle that I feel is like really a derogatory term. Because this organelle is not an organelle, it's not an organ of the cell, it's its own cell. And it's called a mitochondria. Who's heard of the mitochondria in here? Here we go. Now anybody who don't know what the mitochondria is, you need to know because that's your mama. Wouldn't you like to get to know your mama? Mitochondria is only passed down by way of the mothers. So everybody in here has their mother's mitochondria. This is how we're able to trace our genetics back. And when Enqi comes up here and talks about eat right for your haplotype, you'll know what he's talking about. Because haplotype has to deal with the mitochondria. Okay? So, before I go too deep, let's start with these slides. Now you hear the word frequency all the time. Oh man, frequency, the high frequency, man, you know, we on the same frequency. Change frequency. Like, okay, in other words, what does it mean? What does it actually mean? So we have an electromagnetic spectrum, right? Which is really just light. But light is so powerful that it has degrees. Just like we talk about temperature. Temperature is a broad term because it can be cold and it can be, okay, it can be cool and it can be, right, exactly. So it's the same thing with frequencies. We are attuned to something called the visible spectrum, which is a very, very narrow space. If the electromagnetic spectrum was a football field, a grain of rice on a 50-yard line would be the visible spectrum. That's what we see. But that's all we need to see, because the visible spectrum is the spectrum that gives us the energy we need. I'm going to explain how. So we eat to extract and assimilate the energy of the sun. What is the energy of the sun? The energy of the sun are frequencies. How do I know the difference between a high frequency and a low frequency? It's not just saying one's good and one's bad. It's that one is more frequent than the other. If you drink too much water, you're going to use the bathroom more
frequently.
If you don't drink water, you're going to use the bathroom less
frequently.
Okay, so exchange frequently for frequency, and it's the same thing. So when you have a high frequency wavelength, that's something whose wavelengths are real close together, meaning the duration in time is much shorter. But when you widen that time out, that's a longer wavelength because there's a wider duration in between it going up and down. So when we're looking at a color spectrum, and you see here it says NM, NM means nanometers. Nano nanometers means 1/millionth of a meter. It's like real small. Okay? And then up here you see ultraviolet with the purple, that says 400. So that means we're able to see the wavelengths that are these small little spaces between 700 and 400 nanometers. That's our window. That's what the creator said, yeah, y'all can see that. But that's about it. Unless you take some mushrooms or some DMT and it kind of opens up a little bit more if you're ready. Alright, so let's go to the next slide. Awesome. Alright, let's go to the next one. So here I was just talking about, I compared it to using the math. Keep going. Alright, so let's start with the atom. Because in order for us to get to the part of mitochondria, so you can understand how powerful your body is, you gotta understand what you're made up of. If I tell you y'all need to get some C3, some conscious Christian concentrate, and I start breaking it down, it all sounds good, but do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to communicate to you to let you know that in that bottle is the plant version of your connective tissue. That's your cartilage and your skin and your keratinocytes. There's a plant analog to it in the ocean. The reason why the mitochondria is inside of our cells is because the mitochondria said, wow, the ocean is where life is at. I wonder what would happen if I could take the ocean with me. And it created a cell around it, which is man. See, that's why women came first, because it was the mitochondria. And then the mitochondria created the viral cell around it, which is the male, and we work in unison with one another to create the body. You see? So all problems that you have are mitochondrial based. The reason why you never fix your problem is because you're focusing on the nuclear DNA, or you're looking at the regular cell instead of looking at the mama that's living inside of it. Okay? So atom, in Kemet, we hear of the tomb being birth of creation. Of course it's the birth of creation, because in order for you to perform any feats of chemistry in your body, unconscious to yourself, or in a lab because you took it up as a career, you're manipulating the atom. And there's only one atom. Don't get it twisted. And what's that atom called? Hydrogen. And what's the root word of hydrogen? Hydrogen. What does that mean?
Water.
Water. Water. Water is all we need. Water and light and breath. Between those three things, we can be super people. See, I've always told people that eating is to extract and assimilate the energy of the sun. So if the energy of the sun is light, that means light is what we really eat. But we only eat food as a secondhand source because our eyes and our skin eat it initially. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, so when you look at the atom has its parts. If anybody goes to court, you understand that there's plaintiff, defendants, and a judge. There's always plus, minus, and neutral. If you're looking at the pH scale, there's acid, base, and there's neutral. And when you look at the atom, what is there? There's plus, there's minus, and there's a neutron. It's the same thing no matter where you go. But see, when they're trying to give us this information, they convolute it, they turn it backwards, they switch it upside down, they confuse you, you lose interest, you don't care, and then you just listen to experts in the field that really don't even know what they're talking about. But see, if you understand that all this stuff means the same thing, except this one says Bob, and this one says Larry, and this one says Mike, but they're really the same guy in a different suit, then you start to understand. Okay, let me know if I'm going too fast. Okay, let's go to the next slide. All right, so we have the atom. When we go into atom, we go to the core. We got proton, neutron, and proton and neutron in the nucleus in the center of the atom. And then when you go to the nucleus of the atom, there are subatomic particles in there. Like, in other words, the deeper we go down, the more organization you're going to find. The more meticulous energy is going to be flowed the deeper you go. All right? And when you go down in the nucleus, you got quarks and you got gluons. All right? Let's go to the next one. This is another picture of one. These are quarks in between. It's like, there's gluons in between these quarks. Gluons are just like the root word. What do you think of if I say gluon? What does glue do? If you got a nucleus that is strong and is supposed to be the center of something, you want that thing to be held together. So yeah, of course, a gluon. right? That's something we can relate to. Let's go to the next slide. All right. So what we have now is valences. So when we deal with atoms have their nucleus with the protons and the neutrons in there, but they have something called valences, orbitals, or clouds. What is that? That's called infinite probability. Anybody ever throw dice up in here? Okay, I mean, come on now. There's a lot of black people in here. I really don't. Okay, now, you're shaking it up, right? And you let it go. And you don't know what it is until it rolls, right? Well, an electron cloud is just that. It's this. You're walking around and the atom is just shaking it up. And it could, when it ends up at any particular point in that cloud that's around that atom, that's you throwing that dice and hitting that number. Okay? So when we deal with the clouds, they all have different levels, and these are the different levels that you see. So hydrogen has one, meaning it has an electron in its first orbital, and it can fill this orbital up with one more. That's going to make it stable. Let me give you all another analogy. Now, I know people like being single, but I know folks who want to be in a relationship. They want a couple, they want a wife, they want a husband, they want a family. Why do people look for women? Why do people look for men? Why do people want children and family? Because they want, what's the word?
Bond.
Sex.
Bond is one. Sex is another. You talk about mitochondria right now. That's the super sex one right there. But no, it's stability. People looking to be more stable. Okay? Because irrationality and radicalness and all that stuff, it leaves it undesired. There's nothing to really stand on. When you got like a family, it's just more stability. Well, we want that because what we made up wants that. Okay? So in order for this hydrogen to be stable, it gotta fill it up. It gotta fill this orbital up with another electron. Now it's stable. How does it fill it up? It fills it up by bonding to another hydrogen or bonding to another atom that has that electron. Now it's stable. It has a great affinity to oxygen. And when you put two of these with one of that, what do you have? Water. Exactly. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so we got ionic and covalent bonds. These are all words. Don't get scared by the words. There's roots in the words. We just talked about valence. So you see the word valent right there. What does co mean? Community, cooperate. What does it mean? To share. Okay, so when you say covalent, you're saying that you're sharing the valence. So that's when two atoms are sharing. Okay? Ionic is different. Ionic is when something is transferred and the electric charge is so powerful that they get static cling to one another. Like, you know, when you got plastic, you just can't get that little, try to get the straw out the plastic and it won't come off your finger. That's what ionic bonds are. What you say?
Close out the dryer.
Or close out the dryer, static cling. Exactly. All right, so those are the two ways things are bonding. Okay, let's keep going. And if you think of relationships, they're the same way. They're the same way. Either y'all sharing or y'all just clung together, right? All right, let's go to the next one. We went over that. No, that's out of place. Keep going. Okay, so we all know about the three states of matter, right? What are the three states of matter?
Liquid, solid, glass.
They're liquid, solid, and glass. Liquid, solid, and glass. Yeah. No. Liquid, solid, gas. But there's a fourth stage of matter. What is that fourth stage?
Plasma.
Plasma. Did anybody know about plasma? Anybody know what plasma is?
I do.
Okay, fire is plasma, lightning is plasma, but to give you a better understanding, solids like ice or when atoms are like held together, they're hardly moving, right? Liquid is when they start to move. They break their bonds, they reattach them, you know what I mean? They're kind of like swingers, I guess, I don't know, you know? And then you got gas, which is like kids at recess. They just hit the park and they just everywhere, you see? But then plasma is the next level where the actual atoms, the subatomic particles split up. And it's free electrons, free protons floating all around. So it's a more efficient way of conducting electricity now because of the freeness of the subatomic particles. And that's what the four phases. Now, the four states of matter are equivalent to the four phases of water. And water comes in liquid water, ice, vapor. But what's the fourth phase of water?
Plasma.
Plasma. It's called easy water, which is another way of saying plasma. But they call it the exclusion zone. Now, why do they call it the exclusion zone? Because if I was to pour water into a cup and I beam infrared energy or sunlight on that cup, what's going to happen is all the water that is sitting next to the surface of the glass is going to exclude all protons into the center of the cup. So now you have layers of electrons against the surface of the cup and all protons in the center of the cup. That's a battery. So your body is a battery just based on the 90% water you contain and you standing in the sunlight. And your eyes are the window and your skin is the window in which it can come inside. It's just that simple. Now the way you can test this is if you take a frozen cup of anything, liquid out of the fridge and sit it on a counter, it thaws out. What thaws out first? The outside in, right? Because electrons is heat and protons is cold. So because the protons is in the center, it thaws out second. This is how you're able to see it's for real. All right? So super cool structure, easy. This is the structure of our cells, the gelatinous state. The same gelatinous state that the C3 is in over on that table. Next slide. Awesome. Here's an example. We have the surface material here, and the water makes layers just like ice. You know how ice creates sheets and they get in a hexagonal shape? It does that on its own when you pour a cup of water. The water next to the surface of the cup does this, especially when it sits in the sun, because the sun has a large percentile of infrared energy, which is what initiates regeneration inside your body. Okay, next slide. All right. Black power.
Power to the people.
Black power.
Power to the people.
Black power.
Power to the people.
RBG.
That's right.
What RBG stand for, y'all? Oh, Marcus Garvey. He's like.
I know that.
He's like faith right now. How you dead and faith at the same time?
Blood.
Oh man.
Blood.
RBG, people. What RBG stand for?
Blood, chlorophyll, and melanin.
What you say?
Blood, chlorophyll, and melanin.
Like, come on, man. Alright, so you said red, black, and green, right? What does the red stand for?
The blood.
Okay. What does the black stand for?
Our people.
But what is the black of our people we identify with? What is it called? Carbon. Melanin, right? What does the green stand for?
Chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll. So, how did our flag represent a reminder of our health state? Like, we should never go out and buy KFC because we fly the RBG flag. Because when we go up to Colonel Sanders and he has the Confederate flag standing right there, he's Colonel Sanders. Colonel of what? He ain't my colonel. He ain't helping my war, my fight. He an all white, snow white beard with a smile like, yeah, come get my original recipe. We still don't know what that is.
Ain't that something they had to change the name to?
But if we remember our flag, based
Not
on
chicken.
our blood and the hemoglobin and the fact that we need iron to transport oxygen, and that hemoglobin contains something called a porphyrin ring, which you see at the top, and the Fe in the center being iron, which represents Ogun, who is one of the most powerful deities in our culture. If you look at movies, Iron Man is pretty much the head superhero because he's resonating Ogun energy all day. Okay? Second, we have melanin in the same structure as the hemoglobin. The hemoglobin has iron in the center. Melanin has sodium in the center. What is that? They going hard and fail. Sodium. Do y'all know what sodium is on the periodic table? Salt. But what is the atomic name for?
Na.
You ain't going. Now the word is sodium and the word is salt, but they call it Na on the chart. Why would they call it Na if it's called sodium? Like, not Enqi though. Everybody but Enqi though. What does Na mean, y'all? Natron. And natron is the root word for, or rather the root word for natron is netter. Neteru or natural. So salt, it comes from the word natural, comes from the word netter, comes from the word deity, goddess and God. So at the core of the ring structure for melanin is the God element. When we come on down to chlorophyll, we have magnesium in the core. They all have the same molecular structure. The only difference is the metal in the center. So that means we got to get the minerals in and we got to get the chlorophyll in, because as long as we get this structure and we continue to get the minerals, we'll have everything we need to continue to get up and do the business we need to handle. All right? Next slide. Here's a more clear picture. How different do they look to y'all right now? This is what makes plants green. This is what makes blood red. And the only difference is the mineral in the center, because the mineral in the center is going to determine what wavelength is going to get reflected back to you in your eyes and what you see. Because color heals. Color heals. Next one. Next slide. Next slide. Come back to that. We'll come back. Yeah, that's popping right there. Keep going. Yeah, it's getting funky now. Keep going. Oh God, yeah, keep going. All right. So, like I said, stand outside, right? One thing you can always bet your money on, I don't care what anybody say. Say it's all about mama, y'all. I'm telling you. The sun don't rise. And the sun's going to set. It's going to come up, it's going to go back. I don't care what else go down. You can go with the stain, it could be the end of the world to you. It's not the end of the world for the sun, though. It's going to keep coming up and down. So what does that mean? If you're here, that means you must have a relation with this thing that's constantly happening. What if that is your battery? What if that is your energy source? What if that is the thing to keep you going, sun up, sun down? When you say, what do I do? How do I'm between a rock and a hard place, how can I fix it? Nah. Look at the light. We read it in the books, we take it philosophically. We think it's some metaphysical mumbo jumbo. No, it's literal. No, look at the light and the light will heal you. When you get up early in the morning and that sun rises and it's red, that infrared energy as you stand in the grass and the ground and you ground yourself in an infinite sea of electrons heals your body. And then it turns from red to orange to yellow to white to yellow to orange to red. And when it comes up, it's 1800 Kelvin. As it gets to noon, it's like 5700 Kelvin. So if your body is based on the sun and that clock, then what happens when it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I got my iPad out, or my computer out, my iMac, and the screen, the brightness level is 57K too. So now I'm telling my body that it's 2 p.m. in the afternoon. But I'm trying to go to bed to go to work. So then I go to sleep, but my body's up because it started creating hormones and materials for my body thinking that it's the daytime. This is why there's so many lights. What's like the number one color when we go to sleep and we plug our phones or anything up that's off? It's still got a light on. What color is that light? Red it used to be, but now it's blue. It's blue everywhere. And that blue light is so toxic at night because what it's doing is it's obstructing the production of melanopsin okay, which is a blue light receptor inside our retina. And the reason why this is so important is because that SN, that suprachiasmatic nucleus that sits right there, that is your 24-hour clock, literally. Like the lab results have printed out that it runs on a 24-hour clock of 2 cycles of 12, just like the time that you're aware of. This is how you can program your phone to get up at 7, but you get up at 6:45. Because you have your own clock inside.
Does the sunlight stored in the melanin?
Oh yeah, we about to get there. The reason why that's good. The reason why we go to sleep and we need to be in total darkness is because we sequester light during the day to process light when we sleep. That's the purpose. But if there's a bunch of light around us, then the body thinks that it's day, and it never sits down to rejuvenate, and we wake up fatigued and tired. And the number one organelle responsible for light is the mitochondria. So it always gets hit the hardest and everything else. Let's go to the next slide. All right. So this is the pituitary. This is the hypothalamus up there. And what we have right there is all the different nuclei. Inside these nuclei, specifically the arctoid nucleus, which is right front and center, is blue right there, sits something called the leptin receptor. Okay, leptin is a molecule that we all need more of, and this is the molecule that says, I'm good, I'm straight, I don't need to eat no more. I'm not talking about stuffed, I'm not talking about itis, I'm not talking about passing out or getting the next notch in your belt. I'm talking about, you know what, that was delicious, man, I'm straight, I don't need no more. That's leptin. Leptin is satiety. It lets you know that you've got your nutritional profile up the wraps and you don't need to put nothing more in it. Because if you put any more in, we're going to have to use the energy you just got to break that down, and you're not going to get any revenue. Because it's all commerce in the body. You see what I'm saying? So the leptin receptor, when that gets neutralized, when that gets banged on through acidity and the diet and the blue light, what happens is we don't have a turn-on switch no more. So we can go to KFC and then Taco Bell and then Burger King and then McDonald's and then get a Snicker and then some ice cream, and it ain't even 12 o'clock yet. You see what I'm saying? Because if your leptin was working, it would have stopped a long time ago. Next slide. So this is a blow-up for the suprachiasmatic nucleus right here. That's actually the cherubim that you see in the Bible when you see the winged beast. That's what they're talking about, because it's all dealing with light processing and timing. All right? Oh yeah. Okay, we're gonna go to the. Let's go back. Go back. Back. Right there. All right. So when we deal with photosynthesis, right? You have a leaf. The leaf is green because of chlorophyll. The chlorophyll is in the chloroplast. When sun hits the leaf, because there's water and these organelles called the chloroplast in there, it stirs it up and it starts turning, churning, creating energy and direct current that can power something. And I actually have a leaf that's able to produce electricity. I've done the demonstrations a few times, and I've made a battery out of a leaf. Okay? And it grows from my hometown in St. Croix. Well, this same thing happens in your eye. When the light comes in, it focuses on the retina in the back. The retina has the rods and the cones, which represent light dark with the rods and color with the cones. But sitting right here, I don't know why it's peach and pink. It's supposed to be black. But this is called the retinal pigmented epithelial, which is a Nile river of melanin granules and melanosomes. So as the light comes in and it gets filtered and slowed down, hear what I'm saying? Light has a constant speed. It might be fast, but there's a limitation to it. It's 186,000 miles per second. So like you can go superluminal because there's a fixated speed. So what happens when that fast light comes in your eye? These ganglion and these rods and cones, you know what they do? They slow light down. They slow it down. That's what prisms do. That's why prisms can turn white light into spectrums, because when it bends, When that angle bends the light slows down, and some of it is going 700 nanometers. Oh, that's red. Some of it is going 300 nanometers down. Oh, that's purple. So that's how you get all those different colors that come out the prism. Same thing happens here, and then the melanin, as the sister just asked earlier about the melanin storing it, this pigmented epithelial right here absorbs all of that light. It triggers it to move, and energy or current ends up getting created to charge your body up. All right, this is why Kemet had the eye, and I know Enqi's going to get a lot deeper into the eye when he gets up here, but that's why the eye was utilized so much in Kemet, because it was the key. Like something as simple as getting up in the morning, planting all four of your appendages on the ground, which we call plank. But in Kemet, they called it Harimakhet, or the Sphinx. Right? What do you think that lion with that head was for? Why do you think he's looking to the east? It's so simple. He's like, listen, y'all, I'm not going to write it all out for them to show it to you. Just get on the ground and look east at the sun when it rises, and you'll be as strong as a beast, as a lion. Because panther, the etymology of panther is beast. So when you see mark, the 666 is the mark of the beast, remember the panther is the perfect black. So carbon is 666 as well. All encoded. Let's go. Okay, go back there so people can see the beauty. All right, this is what it looks like as the light pours into your eye. These are rods. These are cones. See the shape? The cones are responsible for the color, just like your printer got toner, yellow, blue, and red, and all that, and they mix and make all the different colors when you print. You have the same cartridges in your eyes. That's where that whole toner thing comes from. And then these rods are discs that are cylindrical, and these are just represented black and white. This is what you use at night, because at nighttime, there's no color. That's how you know the sun gives us color. Because the same thing that looks green during the day is black or gray or white at nighttime. And we don't even think about it. We just think, oh, it's dark and there's a big shadow and I can't see well. No, there's no color until light turns back on. You see what I'm saying? And these are what's responsible receiving it, but you got to understand that light that comes in is food. It's not just light so you can see, because to see represents health. Vision, being able to perceive. You don't have vision. So then some people ask me, okay, what about blind people then? Okay, if they can't see, then like how they getting there, like the SN and all that fancy stuff you talking? They just doomed? They damned? No, they're not. Because they got cryptochrome. And cryptochrome is another molecule in your eye that we share with birds, because this is how birds are able to migrate thousands of kilometers every year. How do you, like, they don't have GPS, they don't got smartphones, they can't Google, there's no gas station. How these cats flying from California all the way across the country to the same spot over and over and over again? And we forget how to get to the Chinese restaurant that we liked 2 weeks ago. Like, man, where was on 5th? You got to pull your smartphone out. Well, they got cryptochrome in their eye, and cryptochrome creates. Anybody watch Iron Man or the Avengers or anything? We got some superhero people in here. Okay, well, I'll describe for people who don't know. But Tony Stark got a suit. When he gets in the suit, he's not claustrophobic in the suit, because he created a visual spectrum where it looks like he's in a big room like this, and computers everywhere. Birds have that ability in their right eye. In that eye in Hebrew. They're able to see the magnetic field. And through being able to see the ley lines in the magnetic field of the planet, they know where to go and where to travel, because all the signs and the roads are there. We got cryptochrome in our eye too, and when people are blind, their cryptochrome becomes a little bit more stronger. And that's what they depend on. Next slide. Alright, so that's a blow up right there of it, okay? That's the pigment epithelial that it plugs into. It's just like a plug. Look at the geometry of this thing. This is what's in your eyes. Alright, so when people have macular degeneration, or people start going blind and cataracts and all this stuff is getting broken down, it's getting oxidized, it's not getting its nutrients anymore from blue light toxicity, among so many other things. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, that's just a blow up of the cone and the rod, so you can see all the individual discs. Now you see each one of those discs are wrapped in a layer, right? That layer That membrane is made up of something called docosahexaenoic acid, but y'all know it as DHA. This is a very important omega-3. Omega-3s is something we consume, and then once we consume, if we have the right enzymes and we're in the right environment, we can, like Lego blocks, build omega-3s up until its highest, which is the eicosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid, which is EPA and DHA. Now, this is how they trick y'all. They say you can only get it from meat. You can only get it from fish oil. All right? And they say you can't get it from plants because when you get it from fish oil, the fish activate it for you. So now you can consume it in your body. You know, but that might go for somebody who doesn't have enough melanin. That might go for somebody who doesn't eat the right diet or is in the right environment. But we can create the activated version, which is called the SN2 form of DHA, which reinforces these membranes so you can let in light and you can create greater charge. All right? Next slide. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh yeah, okay, stop there. All right, pop quiz, y'all. So I see if anybody's awake, if I'm putting folks to sleep. Not you guys. Not Enqi. What's that at the top, y'all? See what I'm saying? I'm talking about you. This is your body. Now, if that was a piece of meat up there, if you put T-bone, sirloin, filet mignon. Pancreas, no.
Gallbladder.
Say that again, baby.
Oh, gallbladder.
Gallbladder. Can everybody say gallbladder?
Gallbladder.
There's probably somebody in here who got it removed and still don't know what it looks like.
Right. How do you take yours and not mine?
That's what I'm saying. But people don't want to hear the information and the help. You gotta know your body. The kingdom of heaven dwells within you. You are the highest technology. You gotta get to know yourself. Know your organs. You go to church, what is the instrument called? An organ. Why? Because
Makes music.
It's a congregation, just like your cells are a congregation. Who are they praying to? God. Who are you to your cells? God. Your organs perform music. As they create their enzymes and hormones, they make sounds, they squeeze, they move air and particles and energy. They're instruments. You are an instrument. This is why you breathe. Breathing is important because you are an instrument. When instruments make sound, you make sound. You sing, you talk, you whistle. You grunt, you sigh. Right? What's this right here, y'all? There we go. Y'all know the liver. Very good, very good. All right. What are these? What's around it?
The colon.
Very good. Okay.
Duty.
Call the duty. So the gallbladder is important. You know why the gallbladder is so important? Because we're 90% water. But the only way to separate or have a firmament in your body is to have hydrophilic and hydrophobic interactions. Hydrophobic means water fearing. So that's another way of saying oil. Fat. Okay? Alright. So in order to split the waters, you have to have some fat or some oil base to split the waters. Alright? But if you're all water, if you eat oil and you eat fat, how are you able to get the energy or manage or control the oil that's coming in you if you're all water? See if I can get the mic to the computer so we can get y'all some sound. All right, so what we're working on doing is turning our lectures and classes like this into long-standing institutions. One of those ways is to reach the babies, all right? Because a lot of adults, y'all just ain't gonna make it, okay? Folks is like, I'm not giving up the chicken. I got lamb chops in my freezer right now. Get it? You guys can hold on to that if we're gonna talk to your babies. So, what we're trying to do right now is we're working on finding some investors with some deep pockets. We have 2 cartoons on the table, one called Vegan Mafia, the other one called Mixed Senses. basically working on teaching children directly about technology so that we can get some entrepreneurial pursuits as well as getting healthy, because you don't want to be healthy and live for a really long time and be broke at the same time, right? That just kind of extends the suffering, right? So we want to be able to enjoy life as we tune up our bodies so that we can live even longer, right? So this is a promo with one of the main characters. Some of y'all may know him. He's going to be in Mixed Senses and in the Vegan Mafia as well. And this will run for about 2 minutes and also give y'all some insight into how simple this information is. Even your 7-year-old or 8-year-old can get it with a little practice.
Swad is the ancient Egyptian word healing and grieving. Swad Monatomics is the world's first ever photovoltaic supplement composed of over a dozen wild plants. Heavy hydrogen, stabilized oxygen, ionic colloidal monatomic minerals, complementing aromatic amino acids and vital compounds to make your body super electric. Our aromatic amino acids increase your two major heme groups' ability to absorb and use UV radiation. These are the mitochondrial cytochromes and red blood cells. The light is converted into the infrared radiation and electrons. The infrared radiation structures the water in the cell's circulatory system and lymphatic system. The infrared also shrinks the red blood cells and the cytochromes to maintain their proper shapes. This is sacred geometry. Understanding shape helps us understand the pathways of energy or energy. The mitochondria can also heat up to 120 degrees while utilizing copper, gold, palladium, ruthenium, rhodium, platinum, and iridium to create biological superconductors. To learn more about this science, you guys should join the God Complex course. If you don't want to learn the science of life, that's okay too. Just make sure you take your Swad Monatomics every day and join the 40-day fast family. It's not about just fruit, it's about the fruit of the earth. Strong mitochondria produces biophotons, which makes all your cells glow. That's why my dad, Minister Enqi, always says, don't chase money, chase life.
All right. That went well. All right, so this is the label to what got me. Yes, it's that. What got me from corporate America here. As a youngin', my hobby was always chemistry, magic, experiments, etc. I never thought that I would take it serious though until an accident. Now the way I look at life, I don't believe in coincidence, so I know there's really no accidents, but a nurse had went to sleep at the wheel of her car. She jumped the sidewalk, she hit my 3 daughters. My daughter Amber, which was the youngest at the time, got the brunt of the hit. She broke her neck, her spine in 2 places, crushed her pelvis and her entire right leg. The doctor said she would never walk again. Long story short, if you know about the Bible, I kind of had my Jacob moment, like I wrestled with God, right? I was like, listen, all this time studying, investing money, all these plans is going to have to work right now. So I put together this compound, Monatomics, and I just went to the ICU. She was in intensive care and just kept dropping it in her mouth. Long story short, I had her, the accident was August 28th. I had her back in school, running around with her friends, end of February, beginning of March that year. And so people began to ask me, listen, hey, what's that thing you had? And let me get some of that. And boo, boo, boo. So we here. The basis of today's short lecture, though, is I want us to really understand the roots of where these healings come from and how long they've been around. Chase. Baby was quiet. You're going to hear a lot in the next coming years about quantum biology. Okay? And I have no problem sitting at the feet of Indian doctors and scientists, European doctors and scientists, purple doctors and scientists. I don't care where I have to get the information. But I do care about the fact that most people don't know its roots. And the way it's taught disenfranchises us, and that's what kind of makes it uninteresting. So I like to take people back to the roots. Now, this is the label of the bottle, and on it, this is the star of the show. This is the aromatic amino acid that's crucial to our body. But when you listen to aromatic, aroma sits right there, right? So KT talked about the nose and smell. What our ancestors in Kemet knew is that the nose develops the brain. Your nose is what's responsible for most of your brain development. Just above that, what I have there is the most potent form of digestible carbon, which is vitamin C. Very, very important in terms of your body being able to process minerals. Most minerals, especially when you buy single mineral supplements like silver, calcium, etc., they're lost in digestion because they rebond with the proteins in your body. They just come out and you do it. Right? So you spend a lot of money, waste a lot of money, etc. Next slide. So, the eye of Heru, right? In the short time, I'm going to give it to you in the way they used to give it up back in Kemet, because a lot of us, we wear these signs, and it's cool to wear the eye of Heru, the Ankh, and those things like that, but if we don't really know what they mean, we're kind of losing. We're just looking silly, to be honest, when we don't understand the symbols that we're wearing. It's cool that we're getting back to wearing our native, our old school symbols, putting ourselves back on the map, but we need to spend a little bit of time understanding these things, right? So when we look at the fractions of the eye of Heru, one of the key things in terms of biochemistry is that the fractions of the eye of Heru represent the musical scale. Represent the musical scale. Why is that important? Right? KT showed you guys the inside of the cells, and he gave you guys some key concepts about structured water and how that functions. The eye of Heru represents a cell. And one of the reasons the fractions represent the musical scale is because when you run sound waves, vibration, through a piezoelectric crystal, that piezoelectric crystal converts those sound waves into light. So we have an internal way of producing the same infrared waves the sun does by listening to music, which is the power of the drum, right? So now people will say, okay, well, where's the significance to my body? Your skeleton is one big piezoelectric crystal. Not only is your skeleton a piezoelectric crystal, every single amino acid, every single tissue is strung together in a periodic arrangement, which makes them biological piezoelectric crystals. So when you understand basic 5th grade science, you cannot have electricity without radiation, you can't have electricity without magnetism. Every part of your body that's healthy is producing light.
That infrared light is actually what structures the water in each cell that allows for life to exist. This is what your ancestors were communicating with you when they told you that sound, the word, was the first form of creation, vibration. Okay? That right there is in the eye of Heru. So when you hear quantum biology, understand its roots. The second piece is that the fractions in the eye of Heru also correspond to bacterial cell replication. Bacterial cell replication. What is the bacteria that lives in our cells? Come on. KT only said it 47 times. Mitochondria, exactly. So they were talking to you then about mitochondria 5,000, 10,000 years ago. Okay? So I just want you guys to get some idea as to the history of where the healing modalities that we practice come from. Next slide. Now, the Ankh. If you look the Ankh up, the Ankh is shrouded in mystery. Shrouded in mystery. There's no definition of the Ankh.
It means life.
No one knows what the Ankh means. What does the Ankh mean? Everyone has one on. Everyone's wearing them. You know, the best scholars on Kemet in Egypt on earth disagree on what the Ankh means. And I sat down with a couple of our best scholars over the past couple of weeks. And I told them what I think the Ankh means and the problem why people can't get it. And it was like, whoa, brother, that's some heavy shit. I said, yeah, that's, it's a good way to sum it up. These are really articulate brothers. They use like 12 letter words, throughout the sentence. Damn, that's some heavy shit. I was like, okay. Did you just say a cuss word? Wow.
He said shin.
Right. Even Brother Jabari did a double take, like, okay, I see you, Enqi. Now, here's what it is. Here's my theory. That it's not one symbol, it's a composite symbol based on two. So when you look at the top, and this is one of the actual Ankhs found in a tomb. So a lot of times the Ankhs that you see on Google and all these different places, they're just, artistic design. But this is actually a picture of one that was in a tomb. And this one is actually three symbols, actually a few. But the major two, right? But the major two is the loop. See that loop up top? That we talk about as the womb, that loop? And then that arch. Right? And then the cross that comes across like a T. That's a shin. Now, it's funny because when you're interdisciplinary, you know all throughout the Orient. Anybody that knows anything about martial arts or anything about the Orient, they'll tell you that means spirit. They'll tell you immediately that means spirit, there's no debate. When you look at the shin is an everlasting circuit of life. Everlasting circuit of life. Circuit of life. Circuit. What does circuit have to do with? Electricity. Right? So now here's another thing though. And this is where, and I have too much time so I can't go all the way in, but so here's where it got really deep at. When I looked at the shin, I immediately was taken back to a story that I had learned about in Kemet, how they explained life and all creation of biology, they said that there was one hidden one, a hidden one. KT put him up real big on blast, so he wasn't like hidden today, but Atum, right? The hidden one. And he created 4 sets of twins. I'm 2 sets short. I got 2 sets of twins. I'm working on catching him though. Right, but he created 4 sets of twins. And so the hidden one and these 4 sets of twins not only created all of life, but controlled the development of all of life. This is right out of Kemet. It's also right out of a biology book. Because when you look at DNA, right, we know DNA is the winding staircase. That's not exactly accurate. It's only that way like 1% of the time. 99% of the time it's actually wound up. You see those? You see right on the outside of the jet, right there, you see those like those little ropes around the cross? That's how DNA is wrapped around histones. And histones are sitting inside your cell, and there's 4 sets of them. There's 4 sets of twin histones. And they're created by an H1 histone. H1. I said, damn, they didn't even edit. They just took it right out of Kemet and put it in the biology book. The H1 histone creates 4 sets of twins, and those histones keep DNA raveled up around it, and all the information that's encoded in your DNA is written into your DNA by the histones. That's what the Shin represents in biology. That's your electrical circuit. Now, in the center is your jet pillar. Your jet pillar represents, of course, we know about the spine. But the spine is the connection between the heart and the brain. This is your electromagnetic connection. This is what separates us from primates. So a lot of people that have been following me for a while, they know I had a long-standing battle with some brothers about the theory of evolution. They're like, no, brother, we came from monkeys. I'm like, no, nigga. You might have came from monkeys.
Apes, not monkeys.
Apes, gorillas, primates. No. I said, not me. There's a huge difference, and it's the mitochondrial replacement. Even when you hear vegans talk about protein, they say, oh, well, you know, the gorilla is strong and he's a vegetarian. Yeah, but we're not gorillas. The reason they're so strong is because their mitochondria is located, 80% of it anyway, in their musculoskeletal system, in their muscles. So that's where all of their energy and electricity is generated naturally. Muscles only have 2 movements, relax and contract. It's an electrical stimulation. So since all mitochondria is there, they are super strong. You don't see any ancient depictions of ancient people in any of our ancient cities looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. We didn't do that. We concentrated on the heart and brain. That's what we developed. Why? Because that's where 80% of our mitochondria is located. That's the separation line. That's what makes us a completely different species. But the spine and the jet pillar, that's what that represented. So the 2 of these together represented your electromagnetism. That's why the Enqi is the key to life, because when you understand how this works, you can heal people. Okay, I'm gonna let that happen. It's okay. You got the information. It's just, you go home. Wait, did he say? Yeah, he said, okay. Did he have a gold teeth? Yeah, it's all right. Next slide. So, here's my thing. Technology, right? Technology is supposed to make 2 things happen. Technology is supposed to make things easier for people to have and do, and it's supposed to make things cheaper. right? Supposed to make things more readily available for folks. So here's my problem looking at the past, the recent past of holistic healing. It's expensive. It's expensive. That's the number one thing I get over the past 12 years. It's, minister, it's expensive. Now, part of that is because we're not used to spending cash for health. We're used to paying with Medicaid, right? We got a decent little job, you got insurance. So insurance pay like 90%, you do a copay. It comes to holistic healing, though. There's no anything in cash. You need cash. That about you. So you go see a holistic healer, and the prices are astronomical. I mean, $1,500 for a month worth of herbs. This brother contacted me out of Chicago. I don't know, they gave him like 2 months to live. Somebody just ransacked him. Like, hey, give me $5,000 for 2 months worth of herbs. And $300 more per conversation if you want to talk about herbs. I kid you not. I put that on my children. I couldn't believe it. So I said, this, come on. I said, this is crazy. And then the other part about it that bugged me was that we were treating holistic healing the same way as Western doctors do it. Here, take this herb, so this one is going to be for the liver. You're going to take this one's going to be for the heart. You're going to add this one's going to be for the blood. This one right here is going to reduce the swelling. So you got 20 different herbs you got to go home with, and you got to... I said, no, there's got to be a way where we can reduce that price, get that price down, and give people something that can work on the body as an entire system. So when I finally got people to the point where they could begin to get the grasp of mitochondria, because I had to get people to really understand melanin first, and that took a long time because we had a lot of wrong information about melanin. I had to spend a lot of time arguing with folks, correcting things. People telling me crazy stuff like melanin is made in the pineal gland.
It's a fungus.
Melanin is a fungus.
It's a fungus.
Now wait a minute, whoa. I could tell from that silence in the room. Some people in here thought melanin was created in the pineal gland too. No, it's not. Okay. Melatonin is produced in the pineal gland. Melanin is produced all over your body from melanocytes that house little enzymes called melanosomes that actually do the work. Except for neuromelanin, because the brain is so electric that the reduction of tyrosine happens without the aid of enzymes. Okay, but it's not in the pineal gland. So, y'all getting a lot of good stuff today. It's all right. So, once I got people on a large scale, because we got a school that's been running for a while, the God Complex course, so people can go to the website, 40dayfruitfast.com, jump into class, get some of this good information. Then people would understand this guy, mitochondria. Because the other thing that's missing from all these quantum biologists is they talk about mitochondria, and it's good. We have to understand that because it's spiritual. The spirit is tied to your mitochondria. Like when you look at the body, you look at me, everything, you look at your person next to you, everything that you can see, feel, and touch, even if you cut a person open, everything that you can touch is built by your nuclear DNA and RNA. Right? All of the structures of your body. But what animates those structures comes from your mitochondria. What animates them, what allows them to move, how your body processes light, information. Light is thought. right? All that centers here, your mitochondria. But what they never talk about is that your mitochondria are tied to your melanin. So last year when Sadie passed, me and KT said, okay, we gotta go on a road. So we sat down, we wrote a book together talking about the connection between mitochondria and melanin. We went on the road, we did about 3-4 cities out of pocket. Right, we did about 3-4 cities out of pocket before we ran out of funds. Right, trying to fund all this stuff ourselves. Put a school in the deed, 17 racks out of pocket for myself. Asked for donations, I think I got like $400 something. I was like, we need a school, oh my God, give me some money, I'm gonna put one there. It's like, okay, $5 donation. I'm like, okay. This is why we have no schools. It was a mess. So anyway, we got the connection. Melanin, all over the body, sunlight, electricity. Your mitochondria is directly tied to your melanin. This is why the next book I'm working on, Eat Right for Your Haplotype, talks about the true understanding of diet. Now, and I'll let KT, I won't be as nasty and rude as KT was to me. I'll ask a question and let KT answer it. Which food has the most electrons in it? Is it A, fruits? Is it B, vegetables? Or is it C, fat? Crowd first. A, B, or C?
C.
Awesome. You are disqualified.
He has to eat like Sadie hat on.
Right.
Fat. C.
Fat.
C. Fat.
Fat. People are like, what are they saying? Your mitochondria and how efficient your mitochondria runs is supposed to dictate your diet. The more melanin your body produces is a sign of how efficient your mitochondria run and how tightly coupled your cytochrome are. So you are supposed to eat fruits and vegetables that are loaded with aromatic amino enzymes. I didn't even fully understand at the time when I made the Mom Atomics that it was loaded with aromatic enzymes, and that was the magic. I thought it was the minerals, but no, it's the aromatic amino enzymes. Those are what help you convert sunlight into electricity. So when you have a very, very sophisticated electrical system, very efficient mitochondria, what you're supposed to eat is things that allow your body to get what it needs to get from light. See? We have to understand melanin in a serious way, not, let's get deep and meditate, be conscious. No, it's going to kill niggas still. See, when you understand that sodium is at the center of melanin, then you see why black folks have the high blood pressure issue with salt. You don't need to add salt to your food. None of it. Stop it. Not Himalayan, not pink, none, no salt. Stop. You're loaded with salt already. You're salty. You don't need that. Get back used to the way food tastes. Your taste buds are just like mutant. Eat some raw chicken. Without the flour to hold all the seasoning, without all the grease, without the ketchup, the hot sauce. Eat your burger without the lettuce, the tomatoes, raw, without the... You can eat an apple that way, though. There's a reason. It's not that deep. So, anyway, once I got people to that point where they could get the connection between the melanin and the mitochondria, now it made sense. It's like, oh, okay, boom. So, how does a human develop? Well, there are 3 layers cells that divide up into your endo, ecto, meso, but your 3 layers of tissues that will produce all of the organs, the glands, etc. So everything comes out of the blood. What's magical and crazy and tricky about the blood? The blood doesn't have a nucleus. The blood doesn't have a nucleus. There's no DNA. Like the blood doesn't have a nucleus with DNA in it. The blood doesn't have mitochondria either. Why? Because when KT put up the picture and he showed you guys the cytochrome 1, 2, 3, 4, and you guys were looking like, damn, KT smart. Those same cytochromes are heme, the same as your blood. Your body is a fractal, or has a fractal blueprint. So what's happening in the mitochondria is the same thing happening at the larger body. Your blood is just to conduct electrons around the same exact way. And so with the right frequency from the different tissues in the body, the blood can then begin to rebuild the tissues, glands, and organs, etc., that's damaged in the body. It's supposed to happen every night when we go to sleep. How many of us sleep good every night? Stop lying. Right? So I realized if we adjust the mitochondria, at the same time we're going to adjust the blood. They require the same nutrients. When we adjust the mitochondria in the blood, we can adjust the glands, the organs, the heart, the brain. When you do that, because basically metabolism is just another word for how fast and how good your mitochondria functions. That's what your metabolism is, how fast your body can convert what you put into it into energy. The mitochondria does that. Protein is metabolized in the fat. Fat's metabolized in the sugar. Sugar's metabolized in the acid so that your body can extract the electricity from it. When we do that efficiently, we have no inflammation. It's the leftover byproducts and things like that that are sitting there. We have no blood sugar. We have no high A1C count. There are no sugar bonus floating around in our circulatory system. There's nothing for the yeast, parasites, and fungus to live off of. Our connective tissue, called fascia, right? That's what stops my heart from bouncing up and down if I jump up and down. You have like 2-sided tape running all through your body, holding everything in place. That's what your fascia are. You have 4 types of fascia, but I will go through all of them. But it's like tape, literally holding everything in place in your body. So when you address the mitochondria, your energy distribution, you address all of these areas at once. Next slide. Now, quick and simple. You have 3 types of bonds. Ionic, covalent, hydrogen. This is like a 1-slide biochemistry class. You get like a year worth of college in like 6 minutes. Ionic, covalent, hydrogen. These produce your chemical reactions. Synthesis, exchange, and decomposition. Those are the 3 types of chemical reactions your body has. Decomposition is breaking things down. That's what we do during detox. A lot of people have been detoxing themselves to death. People get on the herbs, and that's what they do. They're like, yo, I'm about to get this detox. I just did Enqi's. I'm about to do Jahoobies. I got Sadie packaged in the cabinet. KT gave me something last week. I'm detoxing.
And when you die, for that,
they detox. I'm like, do you understand what detoxing is? You're breaking things down. There has to be a period where you build things back up. Or you're not healing. you're just further damaging the body. That's why we couple the detox with the mammotomics to rebuild the structures to increase autophagy. What's autophagy? Autophagy is the process that happens at night when you're sleeping. Right? When you're sleeping. Melatonin is not so that your body goes to sleep. Melatonin is like the gas the surgeon puts on you. So it does put you to sleep, but it's only so he can perform surgery on you. Melatonin puts your body to sleep so that it can optimize your mitochondria while you're sleeping. And put your body into the system of autophagy, which is rebuilding all the enzymes, hormones, peptides, proteins, bone, etc., in your body that you put on the wear and tear on throughout the day. So you have to rebuild the body. Exchange. That's your metabolism. Okay? That's your metabolism. Tricarboxylic acid cycle, or the Krebs cycle, right? Synthesis, anabolism. That's how you build things up, right? Your basic chemical reactions. Now, electrolytes. What are electrolytes? These are minerals that facilitate most of these things. These minerals can be acid or alkaline as well. It depends on how they function. So, electrolytes that are acid functioning in the body release hydrogen into a matrix. What is a matrix? A fluid system. What is your body? A fluid system. So certain electrolytes release hydrogen into the matrix, which is a good thing. Wait a minute, acid is a good thing. What is he saying? Your body needs a balance. That's ma'at. That's also from Kemet. Base or alkaline electrolytes release things that bond to hydrogen in that matrix. This is the source of life. Awesome. So, here's what we did. We put together a compound that addresses all of these issues. And I wanted to have maximum clarity with the compound, so I didn't just give you a list of ingredients. What I did was I gave you the ingredients grouped in how they function in the body. So yeah, there's bladderwrack, yarrow, cascada sagrada, Irish moss, African bird pepper, and kelp. Why? Because those work on your metabolism and fat. Specifically the white adipose tissue, because it serves no purpose but to harbor parasites, viruses, and feed deformed cells or cancer cells. Happy tree, Madagascar periwinkle, Mayapple, Pacific yew. Man, my herbalist never told me about those. What are those? These are the 4 leading trees, tree barks, that scientists around the world have hidden from you because they're cutting them down as fast as they can find them to turn them into chemo drugs. That's where they get the chemo drugs from. I just have the whole plant. So when you get the extract, you're missing stuff. So we have those there for epigenetic and anti-carcinogenic effects. We have the yarrow, the clove, the amla, sea moss, the coriander for a lymphatic system flush. White blood cell activity, white pine bark, honey goatweed, kelp, milk thistle, tribulus, and bitter melon. For your anabolic system, an aromatase inhibitor, tribulus, bladderwrack, kelp, Irish moss, chasteberry, African pygeum. African pygeum is great for all things that start with the pituitary gland. Blood sugar, insulin, candida, parasites, your brain and nervous system, anti-sterility and hormones. Like we need a whole class on anti-sterility and hormones. We're going down, family. Heart and blood, hemorrhoids, gall and kidney stones, bone density, hair, skin, and nails. Vegan B vitamins. Vegans don't get B vitamins. Yes, we do. So you have all of these things. Now this is the front label of the bottle. On the back label, I've given you the ingredients to the ingredients. What does that mean? I have every one of these herbs listed, and for each herb that's listed, I have every nutrient and active compound in it on the back of the bottle. So the bottle is like a $500 herb class. Thanks a lot. All right. So this is the back of the bottle. So you get to see exactly what is doing the magic. Why? Because I don't play games. Everything that I use is clinically tested and documented. Which is why my personal clients, I always have them do like a full workup. Or give me a hormone panel, give me some blood tests. Like to see where you at when I start with you. So 3 months down the line, we can go get that again, and then you can see how the herbs works. None of this feeling, and I think I have more energy stuff. Right. Yeah, I noticed a little more energy. I think it's working. No, you might be getting hustled. You need documentation. Like, no, when I started with Enqi, look, I was right here. Pop, 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 pop. My A1C was 6 months later. Look, pop, 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 pop. I'm documented fixing people's broken necks. A woman in Florida, she had 2 forms of cancer, stage 4. She was legally blind. I got her driving her car in 4 months. They gave her her license back. Tested, documented. So, what we do is we have a 40-day fast that runs once or twice a year. We got about 11,000, 12,000 people to do it with us every year now. But the question always was, what about for everyone else? Some of us can't get rid of the chicken. I like to turn up. Sometimes there's, Molly.
I'm done.
It's Hennessy. It's Remy. Ciroc. Right? I just can't get rid of the little Debbies. Right? So, right, all these things that are so important, more important in our life. Hey, I'm talking bad about Oreos. Hey. Oreos are vegan.
I know.
Somebody tried to debate me like, no, Oreos not vegan. I'm like, whoa. Everything vegan is not healthy. Vegan just means there's no animal products in it. So, every so often, a few Oreos may happen with almond milk. I'm just saying, Sonny, over there, that's what I'm going. You do your own thing. However, we got the 21-day detox for everybody else. Right? So it doesn't matter what you're eating. This is very simple, and everyone can do this. All right? It is 2 bottles of chemiluminescence, 1 bottle of Mama Atomics, breaks the body down, builds the body back up. One of the very special things about Mama Atomics is that it puts hydrogen and oxygen, and not just hydrogen, but heavy hydrogen. All right, known as deuterium, which the oceans were much more plentiful years ago. That's what's missing. So when you look at why things grew much bigger 10, 15,000 years ago, it's because the water, the hydrogen was different, right? So, and because we go sublingual, it goes directly to the blood, and the blood is able to get that to the interstitial fluids of the body and begin to help structure the water, which pushes all of the other gunk out of the cells, and that's how we get cleaning in the cells as well as structuring of the water. But you got that. First 3 days, very simple. 3 capsules per meal. 3 16-ounce cups of water per meal. Some people are like, hey, I know math. That's a lot of water to drink with a meal. Well, you're going to have a little less of that meal then. Okay, we're not going to reduce the water. We're going to reduce the meal. Okay? Large problem is people are clinically dehydrated. Okay, so we're going to address both things. Right, next 8 days, 2 capsules per meal, 2 cups of water, very simple. Last 10 days, we wind it down, 1 capsule per meal, 1 16-ounce cup of water per meal, very simple. Each cup of water, you're going to drop 4 to 8 drops of Mama Tonics into it, easy peasy, 1, 2, 3 easy, no harm, no foul. You're going to get all of your aromatic amino acids, your minerals, even the things that you need for your memory and your brain to function much sharper. Gold, platinum, iridium, rhodium, ruthenium, all of these exotic minerals. What makes these exotic minerals or transition minerals special and why they're able to conduct so much more electricity than the others is because they all store more hydrogen in them. Okay, they're able to store more hydrogen. Awesome.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right, so that's it. Everyone go by the
Encore.
questions.
I want to know all this good healthy stuff that we need to purchase. Why do they have these prices that are just outrageous?
Because
Wait a minute, one more thing. If they're so good for our bodies, why is that our business is so covered?
because the insurance companies are heavily funded by the pharmaceutical companies. So the pharmaceutical companies only want you to purchase the drugs, and their focus is to get you to quote unquote manage illness, which means slowly but surely consuming more and more amounts of drugs. Yeah. So that's the whole key. What we want to do is reverse the illness and get you back to the point where you don't need any drugs. But now, does that mean as soon as you buy herbs from us that you should stop taking your medications at home? No. Do not do that. A lot of people do things like it's dangerous. You want to heal your body to the point where you no longer need the drugs. But you don't want to stop anything you're currently doing. Some people have chronic conditions. You want to get busy, start doing the work, transform your body back. And then go to your doctor and let your doctor tell you, hey, you know what, we can dial back. And then you're going to get excited, and then you're going to be like, yeah, because guess what? I had these herbs from KT and we don't want you to do that. Let the doctor get all the credit. Okay? We don't want y'all to add our names, Enqi and KT, to the dead holistic healers list. Right? Man, just let the doctors get the credit. When you start looking better, like, yeah, doc, I've been listening to everything you said. I've been eating chicken 3 or 4 times a day. Chicken is like a drug. When my daughter was in the hospital, they said, yo, she needs chicken. I was like, what? I literally had to explain to the doctors why she didn't. I was like, no, see, this is what happens. Okay, so to repair the bone, you actually have to get more of the alkalizing foods in, because when you have a surplus of alkalizing compounds in the blood, then the excess crystallizes into new bone. That's how new bone is produced. And so they were like, oh, I said, so now what happens is when you eat those meats, even if you're just eating pure chicken breast with none of the quote unquote other stuff on there, you have a lot of residue left over, and those produce acid forming compounds in the blood, and those reduce the bones because it makes them, they have to pull the phosphorus, the calcium, the strontium out of the bones to neutralize the acid forming compounds in the blood. Doctor's like, oh. And so what medical school did you go to again?
Exactly.
Like,
it was the first question they asked.
Like, oh, so where did you work at though? Like, Verizon. Like, okay. You're trying to keep it secret. Yeah. Cell phone, cellular technology. So, no, it's just, so that's why we're reducing it down and getting people what they need to have it at the best possible price.
So to add to this, this question you asked about the prices. All right, so for those of you who know anybody with cancer, the pills for cancer, some of them are $10,000 per pill. Per pill, and I'm not saying purple. I'm saying per pill, like each individual pill is $10,000. But see, because there's like a three-card Monty going on between insurance company, healthcare doctors, and everything like that, you know, you think you don't have to pay, so you just pay a copay, other things happen, and then you can get it. But it's like $10,000 a pill for something synthetic that don't even work, that makes the condition worse. So like he said, when he listed those rare tree barks that they're knocking down, that means when he tries to get that tree bark, it's probably gonna be a whole lot of money to get to that bark, to get the bark over here still retaining its properties. And then the reason why we get so detailed in explaining the science, so you can understand how much work it takes to extract properties out of plants while still retaining its potency long enough for when you get it, it affects you in the way that's going to benefit you. Now, the extraction process and making herbs, like for instance, there's an herb that I do, takes 3 days to make. I just got done making it for my mother. I got a big pot of it. I got to send it down to Atlanta so she can, give it to her clients. But it takes 3 days to make it. If I make one misstep, I got to start all over again. And the pot is trash. Plus, I can't get in an argument with McQueen and then start making your herbs. I can't curse somebody out on the phone and then start stirring the pot. I gotta be in a peaceful state of mind. So the reason why there's a charge is because I always learn in business, whatever the cost is, you multiply by 3, because you gotta add in your production costs, your labor, and if we really were to charge you for our labor, it will be $10,000 a pill. Honestly, because at least with what we offer, it works. You see what I'm saying? And we're teaching you the information so you only deal with us for a certain period of time, and then we kick you on your way. Like, go, bye. You don't need me no more. So that's like priceless, So yeah, you pay up front, but you don't pay in the long run, where people who usually have to play in the long run, they pay it all the way until that last day, and then they're still owing when they're not here. So to answer that.
And it happens, family. Yes. I almost cried one day. Asa caught me in the frozen section.
Stop it.
In Whole Foods.
Please stop.
No. I try to keep them secret because everybody see me buying the pies. They start buying the pies. Now y'all gonna mention it in front of all these people knowing there's only one Whole Food in Detroit with one type of vegan pies. You just said it. So, Asa catches me in the frozen section. He says, bro, I just did it. You and KT, y'all got me lit. Was that testicular cancer? Was that first cancer you? Ovarian cancer. Asa's now, and now Asa got folks he teaching it. So the information is transmittable and it's not that deep. It's just getting back to the natural principles. Today, everything over there in terms of the detox, 50% off for the festival. Also, we out there in the park. Just wanted to add that piece. Monday through Friday, we in the park, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. exercising with all the best herbs on earth. If you don't get to exercise, you're still going to be sick. You have to exercise and move your body. And we out there with the babies from age 2 and 3 years old up to folks in wheelchairs. Moving, getting the sunlight. Okay? No charge. Free. Okay? Act now, because this is Detroit. Okay? Sunlight will be gone shortly. School will be opening back up, so security will be locking us out the track. But we'll be there Monday morning. Any other questions?
So since this is Detroit and the sun will be gone soon, what do you do in the winter since you don't get the sunlight?
Well, here's the thing. Right. The vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, so it's stored in the fat. So if you soak the sun good throughout the summer months, it'll get you through the first part. And the key to knowing that is it's not exactly the sun that gives you vitamin D. So there's a couple of key pieces to that vitamin D thing. Cholesterol. Okay, a lot of people know cholesterol as a bad guy. Cholesterol is your friend. Cholesterol is what your body converts into vitamin D. So you have to have cholesterol in the body readily available so that when you get out of the sunlight, the UVB part of the sunlight, that UVB can catalyze your body to convert cholesterol into vitamin D. So one of the reasons we have high cholesterol levels is because we don't get any sunlight. So the cholesterol that's supposed to be getting converted into vitamin D is just building up and sitting there and getting thicker, and your body is trying to mobilize it by attaching more fats and lipids to the cholesterol to carry it around the body, recycle it back around to the liver to try to do something with it because you're not converting it. Your body was made to be in the sunlight 16 hours a day, and now we average 16 minutes a day. So on top of that, we want to get the foods in, and then we want to budget so we can go on vacation. You got to do it. Health purposes, figure it out. Find 3 or 4 other people. What's up? Let's rent this car. Where are we driving to? Listen, we all have somebody living in the South. If not, get a hotel room. Hang out at the hotel, go outside, get some sunlight, come back to the D, charged up. But you got to do it.
I would add, get up with the sunrise during the winter months so you can get that initial sunrise, that infrared, that bright red sun, and ground yourself, because like we live in an ocean of energy, but we have to utilize it. You know what I mean? So the summer, you know, you're running around, you're doing things, you're getting the sun in the summertime. But when the winter comes, you just have to be a little bit more active in chasing the sun. You know, that's why we're different from plants. Plants, they stay in one spot. We traverse the earth, so we can go for it. We can chase the sun. We're the only species that can manipulate their environment. Everybody has to deal with their environment. If it's winter, it's winter. If it's desert, it's desert. You know what I'm saying? If it's wet, it's wet. If it's dry, it's dry. If we don't like that, we can either change that environment ourselves, building a home or a structure, or we can get up and go somewhere else. You know what I mean? So we just have to use that ability we got and just sequester more light in those cold months.
Thank you.
Sure, so the young lady in the front here that's talking about why it costs so much, they call it health insurance, right? You're healthy, but they don't call it sickness insurance. So what these herbs are is like sickness assurance. You get your life assurance.
I like that.
But one question I had, I heard that salt makes us more like Europeans.
Then we immediately reduce the blood pressure because we get many of those toxins out of circulation in a safe way.
We want to get some of these products. So are they over here?
Yes. So Asa's gonna close it down. Lord Asa, God, I'm so Sundays. Versace, Medusa head on me like Peace, everybody. So you're more than welcome to grab the herbs. I just wanted to say, anybody that was filming,
please put up only like 1 to 5 minute clips online if you want to do that. If you want to keep it for yourself, that's cool. But as far as the distribution of other people, those rights are going to be exclusive to these guys right here. So, if you didn't know, you just got like $1 million worth of, Solar Power Sundays, that's the rule. Yeah. So you just got millions of dollars worth of information. You gotta go to this university, that university, go on escapades, all types of stuff just to collect and get this type of understanding. So I just want you to understand the value of what you just got. Also, for people who need to simplify the information, I know a lot of us we get lazy, we don't like to study the ancestors. I highly recommend that you go back and study some of the elders' work so you can get a blueprint or a foundation. That way you can insert the details in and get the proper, more updated, advanced version. I heard earlier Minister Enqi say something about acid being healthy, and I saw some people switching their eyebrows and all types of stuff. An easy way to get an excellent understanding is using the etymology. You could take acid and trace it all the way back to the deity that we call what? Aset. Aset's role was to be the throne that the electricity, the consciousness, the force, the God sits on. So we can look at those simple methods or whatever, and it'll take your study into a whole other level, I promise you. But I really just wanted to get that 5 minute clip limitation out there. And then, y'all want to say something else? Right. Nuclear.
Right. So the way to remember it simple is the structure of your body is made of acids. Acids accept electrons. The reason you need an alkaline diet is because alkaline foods donate electrons. So the food feeds the structure of your body electrons. That's what makes a circuit when you have a circuit of energy. So you got the acid-based structure, which is why DNA is acid, right? Deoxyribonucleic acid, which builds up the rest of the structures of your body, the peptides, proteins, hormones, enzymes from amino acids. And you have to feed them or electrify them with the alkaline foods because the alkaline foods provide that electricity. Right? So, we got the class you guys can join, the God Complex course, so you guys can get super deep and wavy with the info. 40dayfruitfast.com. We got the books, the detoxes. We have the parent of all plants, the sea moss. And we also have the in-depth electromagnetic view of all of the cells, organs, tissues, and bones in your body that we do in terms of our portable MRI, the diagnostic, okay? So you guys can get the diagnostic done with Mr. Versace.
You can see me today if we have time, or you can contact me, schedule a meeting. We're going to do it for the rest of this week. I'm going to do 33% off so we get some information that it might take you. Anybody familiar with Measure Goddess?
Yeah.
Queen of the radio?
Yeah.
She said it took her 6 to 7 different doctors just to verify for one scan what we did. It took her 6 to 7 trips spending all this money for something she spent $150 on. Sometimes people trip $150 like it's a big deal. You're getting a big break in relationship to everything else. Yes, ma'am.
It's 2 bottles. The bottles are on the website, $65 each. Got you. Just so people know. For some people, they're gonna say, I can't get them today. I want to get them on the website. They're $65 each on the website, so that's $130. And the Mama Atomics is $75 on the website, so it's $205 total. But here is $99 for the whole detox setup. You get both bottles of the detox, the Mama Atomics, everything to get you going. So that way you guys can dip your toe in the water, get some cleansing going, and then hopefully we'll see some of you out on the track. Yes, that gets you through the whole 21 days. Yeah, and then well, we want to see some of y'all on the track. Northwestern High School on Grand Boulevard. 9:30 to 11:30. Okay. I'm from New York, so I'm still learning. From the D. Wait a minute, from Detroit city with a certain flair. The D. The D is like one of the blackest cities, if not the blackest city in America. That's why I love Detroit. I came a couple of times to D. I was like, no, I have to live there forever. People moving out of Detroit, I'm moving into Detroit. They're like, brother, what are you doing? I'm like, nah, what are you doing leaving? You know, Detroit is chocolate city. All right, what's up, Chase? You want to get on the mic? You walking around in the front? Get out of here. All right, we want to wrap it up and say thank you to everybody who allowed us to use the space. Africa World Festival. A special shout out to Mama Enqi for allowing us to use this space and bless the people with this information. If you like what you received today, you can contact us at, get your pens, peppers out, phones out, get ready. Contact us at 313-948-9451. If you need me to repeat it, just raise your hand. 313-948. I'll say it again. All right. Tell me when to go. 313-948-9451. You can contact us for more details about Solar Power Sundays.
It's still recording, so
And for those that don't know, we have one more ancestor, Dick Gregory, just passed yesterday. Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah. So, something about August.
that is so heartbreaking.
Savy last August, Dick Gregory this August.
I just can't. I'm done.
And the eclipse tomorrow. Remember, August is called the dog day of summer. The reason why it's called the dog day of summer is because the Sirius star constellation of Canis Major and Minor rises. And at that time of its closest proximity to us, it causes us to have a lot of energy, and that energy translates into heat. That's why it's the hottest month during that time. So yeah, if you don't have your hydration and you're dehydrated, you're not getting certain things in, you can check up out of here very easy around this time if you're stressed, you know. So get your water in, get your hydrogen density, hit the table, ask questions, sign the email list, get some cards, you know, so we can keep this going. All right?
What do you have to do to do the health consultation?
Hi, awesome.
Set up what happened.
Okay.
He has some vegetables.
Yo, Asa, I can't see him. Pick him up.
Have some vegetables. Eat your food. Take care of your brother. And come out today. I appreciate you. I love you. Peace.
Chase Millions here. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about Swaj Mamatonics. Swaj is the ancient Egyptian word meaning healing and greening. Swaj Mamatonics is the world's first ever photovoltaic supplement composed of over a dozen wild plants. Heavy hydrogen, stabilized oxygen, ionic colloidal monoatomic minerals complementing aromatic amino acids and phyto compounds to make your body super electric. Our aromatic amino acids increase your two major heme groups' ability to absorb and use UV radiation. These are the mitochondrial cytochromes and red blood cells. The light is converted into the infrared radiation and electrons. The infrared radiation structures the water in the cell's circulatory system and lymphatic system. The infrared also shrinks the red blood cells and the cytochromes to maintain their proper shapes. This is sacred geometry. Understanding shape helps us understand the pathways of energy. The mitochondria can also heat up to 120 degrees while utilizing copper, gold, palladium, ruthenium, rhodium, platinum, and iridium to create biological superconductors. To learn more about this science, you guys should join the God Complex course. If you don't want to learn the science of life, that's okay too. Just make sure you take your Swaj Mama Tonics every day and join the 40-day Fruit Fast family. It's not about just fruit. It's about the fruit of the earth. Strong mitochondria produces biophotons, which makes all your cells glow. That's why my dad, Minister Enqi, always says don't chase money, chase light. Order your Mama Tonics now at 40dayfruitfast.com.